awe that dances poetry. Poetry dances for love. Poetry dances for the soul. Poetry dances for the sharing of our stories, our truths, our glories. Poetry dances for the spirit. Dances for the sacred. Poetry dances to relish the moment, to remember the occasion, and for the joy of expression. Poetry dances for the expansion of hope and shares our moving essence. Poetry asks us to become inspirational guides who strive. Our dancing atoms reach to understand, to read our intuitive nature. Our desire for union and communion. We inhale. We exhale. To breathe that breath of light, that breath of perception, poetic impression. Connecting components of expression merge. Together we share amazements that transform and inform. We share the awe of reason, the art of becoming the poetry that dances, the poetry that wants to dance, the poetry that dances for love. For the spirit, for the soul, for sharing our stories, our truths, our glories, our continual motion, the moving poetry, the awe that dances poetry.
This is a bit called Why Read Poetry Out Loud? When we were little kids, we liked listening to people read out loud. We followed pictures in our picture books as another voice read the words. In high school and college, things changed. Hamlet and Macbeth will be on the test tomorrow. The final examination will include 10 quotations to identify. We scrambled for support. Where can I find Cliff's Notes? Is there a summary on the internet? Even if we as poets plan to read out loud, we don't have time to practice. The enthusiasm of the Dancing Poetry Festival does a great deal to modify the rush of our daily lives, but we need a new take on listening. Composer Pauline Oliveras honed her experience into what she called deep listening. Listen for the pauses, she told us in her improvisation class. In a modern music performance, Pauline's piece was the final number on the program. The reviewer had left at intermission. Some audience members were slouched down in their seats, others fidgeted. But as soon as Pauline's composition began, the whole audience woke up. We were like puppies with our ears alert. We didn't know we were listening deeply, but we were. And there was lavish applause at the end. Each time a poet reads, we're hearing a new voice. Maybe we've heard the words before, but something about the emphasis will change. Marlon Brando did not read Shakespeare the same way Laurence Olivier did. Each one of us reading here today is a different voice. These differing voices in the moment, never the same twice, can take us back to the pleasure we experienced when our picture books were read to us. Only the pictures form in our minds as we listen. Thank you.
When I came home with a poet. Richard and I met at the first World Healing Conference held in California. I had been commissioned to create a spiral dance of changing energy for the event. Richard was a poet in residence. I had never met him. He had never met me. When I left the stage after my performance, he handed me a badge of his poetry. I read it. I was so affected in every way. That means I cried, I laughed, I shook, I had real reaction to it. I went and found that poet, and we married, probably less than 7 hours later. That's actually a true story. My sister kindly listened intently to what we were planning as the poet and the dancer. She looked at us dubiously, to say the least. We told her we had gotten some good newspaper publicity and that we had been performing for universities, ceremonies, fundraisers, conventions, and other events. She looked even more worried. Dedication to others was always my sister's chief concern. We were getting ready for her expected, pretty heavy lecture on practicality. And just then, at that very moment, a couple of calls came in. Each requested that Richard and I, the poet and the dancer, create and help lighten the atmosphere of the life transition of the transitional memory and memorial service. The call was understood. My extraordinary and compassionate sister became very animated. She said, "Maybe you guys, you too, could do life ceremonies, and maybe even some important ones." This Dancing Poetry Memorial Festival is honored to present Richard's poem, Bon Voyage. It was a centerpiece of the many memorials that we created for many years. The poem will be read by Tanya Joyce with a new and original choreography of visual and transformative dancing poetry by the extraordinary Dionese. It will be read by Tanya Joyce. And here they are. Please welcome Dionese and Tanya Joyce.
Before we go on to Bon Voyage, I have a PS to add to what Natika just read, which is her sister, who was so dubious at first, became a wonderful costume designer and stitcher and made many, many costumes for dancing poetry festivals. And we have some of her other family members here today, and it's a delight to talk to them. So now we'll turn our attention to Richard's poem, Bon Voyage. Bon voyage. Winds of change, strange-born destinies, range my limits. Immortals dine amidst the stars' banquet. I give them my feet, my earth-bound dust, to be resold. I fly upon the fox carpet, above the tides, above the ocean, out past the Channel Islands. Lightness commands my body's destiny, my body's density. I welcome this new trick, this unearthly flight. My voice is hushed to lessen my weight. Bon voyage. Bon voyage.
voice, so this shouldn't be a problem. I'm Evie Grock. No matter how you pronounce it, I'm still Evie Grock, and I'm the current president of the Ina Coolbrith Circle. I've been asked to say a few words, probably while I change, but for other reasons as well. So, a few more thoughts about Richard Angley. I have spoken publicly about Richard Angley once before, and some of the thoughts I shared then are still highly relevant today. For many years, he was the Ina Coolbrith Circle to me. His effort, his knowledge of its history, his presiding at the meetings, and welcoming all at the door for our contest gatherings framed him for me. He had filled the position of its president for 30 years, and the loud reverberation of his being echoed in the chasm his passing created. What I learned and grew to love about the special man profiled a leader who never sought the spotlight or attention. He was a world traveler who valued tranquility and harmony and brought joy to many people. Richard made it easy for me to be myself, to take everything with a grain of salt, to persevere when I felt I had to, and to inject humor whenever possible. How he made me feel is echoed by many who were also made to feel at ease and supported by Richard. The poem I originally read at his celebration of life was "Hold a Place for Richard." Consoling words many times feel like seeds on concrete under a gray sky. But poetry can speak in the ways the soul understands, even when the mind cannot. And so we gathered to hold a place for Richard in our hearts and acknowledge the sadness and grief we carry together, so no one is alone in mourning. Let us invite humanity and empathy to help us lift the pains of others from their shoulders as they guide us to recall fond memories and keep a place for Richard next to us. For this occasion today, I was moved to create another poem about him that I feel captures how my feelings have evolved. And this is called A Flame. Like a flame when the wind dies down, his spirit rises straight. Like a sturdy, steadfast, strong, eternal light, bright, powerful, engaging. I see him all around me. At the start of any Coolbrith meeting we host on Zoom, at any in-person gathering for the circle, when we need a stand-in to take the minutes, I hear him when I call our meetings to order, when we adjourn them, when we call for a motion or a vote, when we call for the question, and when we pause to seek advice. I miss him when I don't see him at the door welcoming everyone, when we need his calm influence and wisdom, when I no longer see nor hear his creative spirit in dance and words. I must believe his blessings hover over us, reassure us we can carry on as we feel his breath filling our sails. And I'd like to end with Richard's own words in a poem he wrote entitled "The Year of No Apples," which asks a question very symbolic for me at the very end. Out in the garden, my trees overrun themselves, spread their branches too long and too far, threaten to fall in the next big storm, scatter too much unripe fruit all over the ground. Prune back all those threatening branches, make whole their center of gravity, protect these roots from the eye of the storm. lash the sky onto these truncated stems. But how much pruning negates the fruit? Where are all the apples this year? Something was necessary to do, but something needed to be left alone. As we go toward that which we need, where are the birds who enjoy my fruit? Where are those birds who sing for me? Where are the apples which grow on my trees? Thank you very much.
Our first reader for today is Evie Grock from El Cerrito, California, reading her prize-winning poem, Art Making Artifacts. Evie?
Hello, I'm Evie Grock from El Cerrito, California, reading my poem, Art Making Artifacts. I spot an impromptu canvas, the sidewalk confettied with dropped coins, an earbud without a mate, silver foiled gum wrappers, fallen pink blossoms, a single earring, browning leaves. They bring into focus urban tokens of life, hard surfaces and soft, hues vibrant and muted, cramped corners, negative space, imbalance and out. Once cleansed, hosed off, what aftermath will appear on these cement squares? On this new slate, accidental art will continue to thrive in place, appear randomly, unplanned, on the canvas outside our door, no studio required. Rustic art invites us to seek out canvases where they lie, sort out the symbols gathered on them, make meaning of found elements of life on the street where integrity lives. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. We now move on to Diane Lee Moomey from Half Moon Bay, California, with two poems. One, Wearing Snakes, and the next, The Work of Words. Diane?
Hi, I'm Diane Lee Moomey in Half Moon Bay, California. Thank you so much for having me. My first poem is Wearing Snakes. I let them wrap around my wrists, the sleek green scales, so like the gold link bracelet mother wears to parties. So like. I close my eyes while wearing one and feel the other. In summer's green beside the fence, By long stems my father's mower doesn't reach. I wait, place my wrist on mullein, grasses, dock. They part. I intercept and lift, feel it wrap. Snake will twine around an arm always, body taut and steadying itself against a fall. Ruby tongue flicks in and out. In my own world, I am, ruby tongue tastes, the only little girl who wears snakes. And the second poem is a villanelle, the work of words. Your villanelle assures the break of day, subdues green eyes beyond the fire's light. My sonnets hold the roofless dark at bay. The chanting drum, our dancing feet make tame the taloned wild. The ballad speeds the night. The villanelle assures the break of day. The litany, the liturgy, to pray in chapter, stanza, verse, arrest the lightning. Your sonnets hold the hungry dark at bay, and lullaby and fable chase away the wolf beneath the bed, the ghouls that bite. The villanelle ensures another day. The forest lurks beyond the glass. Charades, sestinas, odes, pantoums protect our lighted rooms. The sonnet holds the dark at bay. The rhyming lines, the pulse, cantabile accompanied by lute, by flute and fife. My villanelle assures the break of day. Our sonnets hold the roofless dark at bay.
Thank you, thank you.
Mm.
Our next reader is Fiona Ritchie Walker from Birmingham, United Kingdom. Fiona?
Hello, I'm Fiona Ritchie Walker, originally from Scotland, now living in Birmingham, England, and my poem is That Summer. It was not forest bathing or any kind of worship, but every evening, coffee made, dishes done, we unlocked the back door, took warm mugs in cupped hands to stand by the pond, gaze at the trunk of the walnut tree. When I say trunk, it was not that we ignored the perfect symmetry of the feather leaves, their soft green, or the taller branches stretching to the high freedom of scattered clouds, just that the white bark shone. By shone, I mean it captured the whole day's light, all the incandescent warmth only summer months bring, and sent it back glowing to show the night what it was missing. And that, in turn, made the night ink out the greenhouse, table and chairs, everything the day found so necessary, until the trunk of this young tree, which had never presented us with walnuts, gifted its radiance, our lives illuminated. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Our first reader will be Eric Macon Howd from Ithaca, New York, reading his prize-winning poem, Putting Together the Patio Swing, which looks like a very appropriate setting for his reading. Eric?
Eric Mahan Howd, Ithaca, New York, Putting Together the Patio Swing. I don't complain about the time it will take to construct or how the box won't fit into the back of my car, how our hands will need to hold it in place as we drive up the hill to the home we have made together after our children have moved out. You chose this to be the reality of your cash gift from the college for years of giving to the mission. You picked it out because of its comfort and shade, especially because it matched the browns and tans of our facade. This is your time and your celebration, and I know how hard you work to remain seen in this world. This recognition I willingly piece together for you. The directions are clear, the tools are small, but as I work through the afternoon, I think about death, how someday this furniture will be removed to make way for something new. I am silent as I tighten joints and balance crossbars by myself. You stay near, clearing winter from pots of earth. We don't talk about the pain of our aging bodies anymore. When this swing is done, we will sit with wine and quietly regard what still needs repair.
Very good. Thank you. We have Catherine Haug-Machen from Ithaca, New York, reading How to Write an Elegy. Catherine?
Right, Catherine Haug-Machen, Ithaca, New York, reading a poem I wrote in honor of my father, who was gardener and composer and teacher. How to write an elegy. Think gardens, round tomatoes growing under hands in love with sun, where small toads linger beneath vines, wide brown mouths that seem to smile as they blink eyes of topaz jewels. Remember the pop of sweet green peppers twisting off at your first try. Hear music, the old piano's notes rising from pages just inscribed with songs and symphonies for a world that listens, asks again to listen to what curved fingers bring to keys, black and white notes resonance, echoing long before they die. Welcome evening fairy tales, the Lord's Prayer firm on reverent tongue. Praise good laughter on long walks for autumn's mushrooms, summer's grapes, and hold again the simple paintbrush, how you learned to shape a window wider than a door's goodbye.
Good. Thank you. Our next reader will be Mary Kay Lindberg from Bronx, New York, reading 3 poems: Poetic Reign of Richard Angley, The Grammar School Parade, and Preserving Perfection.
Mary Lindberg from Bronx, New York. And the name of this poem, the title of this poem, is The Poetic Reign of Richard Angley. Atoms of dancing poetry in constant motion sway to Nautica's groove, a peaceful commotion. You never miss a beat, sitting in the poetry seat. Your words, gestures give life to poems inspired by strife, joy, awe, love lost or found. You make all poets' words resound. You bring our words to print in books that shine with golden glint. You make poetry dance. Your speech does our poems enhance. We all owe you warm thanks, leading us to that famed phalanx, whence we hear your voice sing to grace a dancing angel's wing. The second poem is The Grammar School Parade. The Grammar School Parade, flew perfect weather. The mayor's delegation sits on bleachers. Judges in white carnations watch asterisks wave. Spectators line bracketed barricades. Drums roll, English teachers troll. An award will be given to the best dressed part of speech or punctuation mark. Exclamation points in royal blue spring before commas dressed in red jostle for position. Question marks in baseball caps threaten shy periods, afraid of dissolution. Pink semicolons twirl their commas. Leather dashes flirt with colons. In denim, cued to buy T's from hyphens. The brass band approaches. Flutists in black lean in to the italics position. Sunlight flashes on trombones played by independent clauses sliding on cue. Participles in plaid berets dangle over drummers. Ambiguous phrases in running shoes race to clarity. Tasseled fragments on scooters barge into noun-verb disagreements, but singular in shimmering satin and plural in faux fur make peace. Deliberations finish to a florid drumbeat. The mayor presents today's trophy to the indefinite pronoun everybody. Resplendent in silk, tuxedo, suede fedora, who falls to the ground, kisses the silver cup, leads all to the Conjunction Cafe. Proper nouns serve hors d'oeuvres, while parentheses offer stylish drinks. Improper noun, sassy syntax, vicious vergule. A longtime oenophile, the mayor opens his oldest bottle for dignitaries, toasts everybody. As my father used to say, to discombobulate, just articulate. The third poem is called Preserving Perfection, Florence, Italy, 2022. Poem from a long day at work on Michelangelo's David in the Galleria dell'Accademia. Signora Silvia Pollinari prepares dinner, lifts coils of pasta into air like harp strings. She holds a Majolica plate with sensitive fingertips, remembers that morning when she extracted dust and debris and snarled in cobwebs of David's curly sculptured locks. Twirling pasta patterns on a blue and white dish, Sylvia thinks about the challenge to chisel such beauty from one stone. How Michelangelo searched months for a perfect block of Carrara marble. At first sight, the 17-foot colossus David halts visitors in their tracks. A young god sprung up before them. His magnetism spreads like rays from a lighthouse. Expectant visitors hush. Every few months, restorer Signora Pollinari meticulously brushes foreign particles from limbs of the young giant killer, fresh from slaying Goliath. She marvels at the statue's muscles, veins, fingernails. Riveted by heart-shaped pupils of his eyes that stare boldly from a menacing frown, Sylvia intimately smooths his cold cheeks with the back of her hand. Tonight, she stirs Parmesan basil sauce, watches green turn dark, golden, with virgin oil from her father's Tuscany olive farm. Guests will be pleased with her culinary efforts at perfection. She pours Chianti into a blown glass goblet, sniffs its bouquet, admiring miraculous masterstrokes that created David. Some indeed, she knows, only her eyes have seen.
Very good. Thank you.
angels. All was taken away from you. White dresses, wings, even existence. Yet I believe you, messengers. There, where the world is turned inside out, a heavy fabric embroidered with stars and beasts, you stroll, inspecting the trustworthy seams. Short is your stay here, now and then at a matinal hour, if the sky is clear, in a melody repeated by a bird, or in the smell of apples at close of day, when the light makes the orchard magic. They say somebody has invented you, but to me, this does not sound convincing, for the humans invented themselves as well. The voice, no doubt it is a valid proof, as it can belong only to radiant creatures, weightless and winged. After all, why not? Girdled with the lightning. I have heard that voice many a time when asleep, and what is strange, I understood more or less an order or an appeal in an unearthly tongue. Day draw near, another one. Do what you can.
Our next reader is Philomena Amy Estrada from Alameda, California, reading Richard Angley, The Gentle Poet. Amy?
Philomena Amy Estrada is my name, and I come from Alameda, California, and the title of my poem is Richard Angley, The Gentle Poet. I still see Richard quietly smiling at our Alameda Island Poets meeting. He speaks softly. He thinks thoughtfully. No harsh tone in his voice, only gentleness and kindness. I still see Richard enjoy the company of poet friends. His approach is peace. His voice is joy. I still remember the many amazing moments when I replay in my mind the thousands of poetic dance performances at Legion of Honor, when Richard reads his poems, magnificent voice, movements, performances, magnificent times. I still see all magnificent times, all awe-inspiring celebrations. I repeat and reinforce my thoughts. Richard, in his life, has shown me the power of gentleness. Richard, in his life, has shown me the power to change hearts. Richard, in his life, has shown me the power to change lives. I still see that Richard's power of gentleness is his tremendous strength. Richard, the gentle poet.
Okay, beautiful. And now, Amy, will you read your sister's poem? She wasn't able to be with us today. And Amy's sister is Lourdes Costales from Alameda, California, reading for Richard Angley. Amy?
This is my sister's poem, Lourdes Costales, from Alameda, California. The title of her poem is For Richard Angley. It's as if he came from a different time and place. Perhaps as a Greek philosopher, reading atop Mount Olympus. With his long robe, laurel crown, and powerful voice, I can envision him performing before a large mass of people like the Colosseum at the Acropolis. When he read his poetry or introduced the dancers who will be performing the grand prize winning poet at the dancing poetry performances, he was in character like Socrates or Plato. It's so easy to notice as this was natural for him. He was in his element. Even his sound bites were short and thought-provoking. I will miss his marvelous and eloquent voice and his style, but mostly his presence. I'm glad to have witnessed some of his talent during my lifetime. He will not be forgotten. Most of all, if we didn't meet him in this lifetime, he would not have met Natika. Thank you.
Very good. Okay, thank you. Our next reader is Sandy King from Lafayette, California, reading Prayer to My Muse. Sandy?
My name is Sandy King, and I'm from Lafayette, California. My poem is titled Prayer to My Muse. To Thalea, Muse of poets, guide me in my poetic endeavors. Help me connect with the creative energies of the ancient spirit guides who inspired all writers who have followed their guidance. May the words I write sing of the love of our earth for the living beings who abide here. May the spirits of the fauna and the flora be called forth so that I might share their infinite wisdom. May my pen choose only noble words to describe the beauty of the fertile valleys, the soaring mountains, the watery depths of the blue planet. May I write with clarity of the mighty natural forces that are still sculpting this world in which we live. May my words resonate with all who wrote in praise of the gentle balance of our beloved Mother Earth, to inspire others to recognize her fragile beauty. May I always seek to share my joy, my love, my respect for the world and its sacred goodness, with gratitude and humility to you, my muse.
Beautiful. Next, is Emmanuel Williams, who was from Miramonte, California, but has moved a few days ago, and he will be reading Sanctuary.
Yes, I am Emmanuel Williams, and I'm living now in Boulder Creek in, as you see behind me, a redwood forest. And I am going to read a poem called Sanctuary. Whatever remains of the soldiers who died in war, of the soldiers who killed them, be it with hands or with arrow or gun or whatever came next. Whatever is left when their blood pulses no more, when the grieving is done and their bodies are stripped to the bone. Whatever is left, be it horror or pain, be it triumph or numbness or shame, may they find sanctuary here among redwoods, here in a silence too deep to be heard, lest they have nowhere to go, nowhere to rest as the screaming subsides and the thunder of guns, nowhere to release all that was done to them, all that they did, all that they know of the meaning of victory, all that they know of the darkness we bear in our hearts. May this be their home for as long as they need, here among trees, where the soil is clean of our deeds. May they find peace.
Very good. Thank you. Next, we have Rose Minion Heflin from Madison, Wisconsin. Rose?
My name is Rose Mignon Heflin. I live in Madison, Wisconsin. I'll be reading a poem titled 8C Joe, an Ode to Summer Rain. It appeared in Deep South magazine in April of 2022. And a Sijou is a type of Korean verse that was traditionally written in 3 lines, each having between 14 and 16 syllables. So this is 8C Joe, an Ode to Summer Rain. Like cattle, we took shelter under leafy trees until the rains came, and then we tasted Mother Nature's love and rage on our tongues as we felt it slipping across our parched skin while we squealed with glee. One drop, and then another fell, so very unforgiving, both nourishing and damaging, both relentless and freeing. There was nothing for it but to ride out the lightning and give thanks. Those downpours carved rivers out of ditches beside the old dirt roads, transforming the low-lying greens into lakes with their flooding, and causing the creeks so bountiful to bubble up to the bridge. It brought the animals such tremendous joy that afterwards they howled and they sang in nature's symphonic cacophony, a glorious sound echoing throughout the farmlands of my youth. Like clockwork, a hesitant, then fevered birdsong so coyotes howling in the distance. Each summer deluge would erode the mouths of all the sinkholes just a tiny bit more, leaving earth gasping as though for air, not unlike how the crops had gasped for water during those drought years. After the rain, my bare and muddy feet would wander the fields, leading me through slicking grass and puddles, on to adventure, lost to imagination, and reveling in country freedom. Those halcyon childhood days spent dancing out thunderstorms, enjoying the rain and Mother Nature's pyrotechnics, still haunt my memories, leaving me longing for one more good storm.
Okay, beautiful.
year, Artist Embassy International awards significant endeavors on behalf of poetry and poetry dedication. We celebrate the 72nd year of Artist Embassy International and the dedication of the nonprofit arts organization to further understanding and peace through the universal language of the arts. Each year, arts and artists of all kinds are honored annually with our Golden Seals Awards. Newly published books, community service that encourages intercultural and inclusive arts events, and poetic endeavors are sought each year for acknowledgement. This year, it gives us great pleasure to honor the remarkable achievements of a very dedicated poet. Artist Embassy International and the Dancing Poetry Festival honors the continual devotion and commitment to expressly and exclusively and expressively illuminate the life of experience, everyone's life of experience. Claire J. Baker has surpassed the extraordinary achievement of 5,000 accessible, published poems. Her artistry is, let's give her a hand. That's good stuff. Her artistry, insightful awareness, and understanding experience, along with her poetic expertise and grace, has resulted in a bounty of poems for all to experience. Artist Embassy International is honored to present this special award to the artist and for the artistry of the poet who holds many, many awards. And now we celebrate the poet, Claire J. Baker. Here she comes.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much.
Here she is, Claire J. Baker.
Well, I came out of trauma and I came to California and saw that there were some poems in the San Francisco Examiner and the Oakland Tribune. So I sent mine in, and mine were short. I said, seems like they're using them for fillers. That's okay. So I got my start with the newspapers. And it was encouragement that they were taking almost everything I sent, for whatever reason. I guess mainly my work is fairly accessible and has reached a lot of people. I'm almost becoming the fridge poet, because people will come up to me and say, oh, I just love your poem, and I put it on my fridge. And I'm going, great. So I've enjoyed poetry thoroughly, all the rejections, the whole works, I love it. I dedicated my life to being a poet, and I'm very happy in my adventure. And I wish the same wonderful adventure for all the poets here and the dancers. Thank you very much.
This is so monumental for me, especially. This is the publishing of her work is everywhere, and I'm so happy for it. So I'm going to help you and us because we want to have this so memorable. So I'm going to give you some cute things to do, and you can make all the racket you want to honor Claire. So we're going to do...
Artists Embassy International for my Dancing Poetry Festival. For my wonderful award. I'll never forget it. Thank you.
Poets of the Call. We answer the call, sung out in all ages. We follow that call, which flows from moon to sun. Sparks of life, poets of the call, its song. We sing out our calling, our song from one to all. We sing in all voices, sing with our rhythm, our form. We come from many nations, a rush in our river of song. We break into all silence, sing praise in many names. We are that truth, carry that light. We sing, we echo our call. We are all truly poets, dancers, artists, and beings of the call. We are all poets of the call. Who's an editor, who believes in peace and hope, and who's created Peace and Hope in San Francisco. And she's with us today. We're very honored to present Elizabeth Hack.
So wonderful to see people here today, and the dance, the poetry, the art. What an event this is. So San Francisco Peace and Hope is an anthology of poetry and visual art. The collection includes local and international voices that reflect a vision of peace. The publication examines global change while celebrating the eternal, changeless aspects of life. Honoring Ukraine is the most recent publication. The loss, the hope, the tragedy is calling. SFPH. Through poetry and art, we continue our mission of peace. The work submitted honors the heart, soul, and humanity of the Ukrainian people. And I want to thank Artist Embassy and Natika Angeli, and also a deep appreciation to the poets, dancers, and artists, and all the people who support the poetic dance being here, our audience. We need great listeners. At San Francisco Peace and Hope, we believe that the most important moment is now. How shall we use this moment in time? We need to choose carefully. Every word, every image, every action makes an impact on the world. The poets know that. With a creative act, there's always a new beginning, a fresh hope with every creative act. Poetry, art, and anything that we do with creativity. In this moment, we can pause and listen, reflect. We can take in the presence of art, the poetry and the dance.
Over the many years of the Dancing Poetry Festival and working with Artist Embassy International, we have had some amazing discoveries and creations. And one of our dancers happens to be an Ikebana artist. I would very much like to introduce you to the artistry of Takako Miyashita. Where the Mind is Without Fear, poem by Rabindranath Tagore, performed as Ikebana Poetic Dance with Takako Miyashita. Poetic Dance as Ikebana Dancing. Where the mind is without fear. Where the mind is without fear, and the head is held high. Where knowledge is free. Where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. Where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way. Into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. Where knowledge is free. Where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depths of truth. Where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father. Let my country awake. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depths of truth. Where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way. Where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father. Let my country awake. background, but what I'll give you is a short overview. Artist Embassy does a search every year for poetry because of the unexpected occurrence of the one that does at least 50%, or let's call it true, at least 98% of the work that goes into this had to go to heaven. And so we're kind of stuck with trying to keep it together. And so that's what we're doing. And each year we have usually several hundred, maybe 300, maybe sometimes 400 poems that we search for all over the world to be able to dance, to bring to choreography, costuming, a reader, some music. This year, we got over 700 poems. Yeah. We had to have 16 judges. 2 of them may be here. Are you here, Dorothy? I don't know if she made it. Some of them are here. So we were very happy, but we all had to kind of double down because 700 poems is, you don't have any idea what the readings are, but those poems are not just read once for discussion. Those poems are read by different voices. Almost every single poem is heard at least 5 to 6 times. Because we found in the past that when a different reader takes on a poem, it changes its shape, it changes its intention, seemingly. Sometimes it's musicality. So we got really lucky, and we got the poems very well judged. This year we had a very extraordinary poem. When I read it, I really liked it. It got voted and voted and voted. It turns out, and I said, you know, Rhonda, another dance company called Words on Wings, which is a liturgical dance company. Rhonda is the choreographer and the mama of the company. She's a brilliant dancer. And I said, oh, Rhonda, please help. Would you take on this poem? Because it's just so beautiful, and we would like you to do it. And she said, read the poem, and she said, oh, I love that poem. And I said, great, because it won a grand prize. This poem was written by a poet who is not a stranger to us. I think this is the 6th, is it the 6th grand prize poem? Now remember, the Dancing Poetry Festival is 30 years old. Each year we do many poems, so there are lots of grand prize poems over 30 years. So to get a poem in here is pretty remarkable. So everybody read it, everybody loved it, and it turns out all the contest is done blind. No one knows who it is until you call up the person who has the names. This poem, I have to tell you, is written by none other than Claire J. Baker. This will be her 7th year. Oh, I have a special outfit for this, but I don't think you'll find it, so you'll have to see me in this. We made special outfits and everything. But anyway, here it is. Artist Embassy International and Dancing Poetry Festival hope to continue to excite the dancing spirit to join together to encourage and embrace the practice of dancing poetry. One of this year's 3 grand prize poems celebrates this discovery, written by the returning Dancing Poetry Festival Grand Prize Poetry winner, Claire J. Baker. We are honored to again welcome the poet, now celebrating, I think it's your 7th, Claire, is it?
7.
It's the 7th Grand Prize work by Claire J. Baker. So here she is. Here it is, Claire.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of poems printed, but you know, I'm 96. I am 96. A shimmering, high in the sky, a shimmering, in wakes of a million fervent wishes, as people pray both day and night, hoping every word is heard. In wakes of a million fervent wishes, we speak as if there were an angel who listens, hears our every word. In sun-bright lighting of a cloud, you speak as if there were a saint, dear one, and you believe there is. In sun-bright lighting of a cloud, mystical and otherworldly. Dear heart, you believe there is a portal where one kneels and waits, feels mystical and otherworldly, and are handed heaven's map, a portal where you come and wait. When your anticipation flares, you are holding heaven's map, watching stars encircle darkness. Again, anticipation flares, past life on earth, and now you kneel as stars enliven all the darkness. High in the sky, a shimmering of a million fervent wishes, we speak as if there were an angel who listens. Hears our every word in sun-bright lighting of a cloud. If there were a saint, dear one, and you believe there is, in sun-bright lighting of a cloud, mystical and otherworldly. Believe there is a portal where one kneels and waits, feels mystical and otherworldly, and are handed heaven's map,
a portal where you come and wait. When your anticipation flares, you are holding heaven's map. Watching stars encircle darkness. Again, anticipation flares past life on earth. And now you kneel as stars enliven all the darkness. High in the sky, a shimmering. High in the sky, a shimmering. And it welcomes you to the wonderland of poetry dance as a unified art form. Now, as you can see, this dance, all the dances and all the forms that we're using are for everyone to enjoy. These dances go, the reason we're so welcomed in other countries is because we include the population that's there, and we include people in the moment. And we play dress up, and we give them a couple of clues, and I see that this particular organization here, they had a ceremony about 3 weeks ago, and it was a story about a snake band. And it was done as a sacred event, and the members were so spontaneous and right with the program. When I saw how willing everyone was willing to share their fun, their joy, their personal ability, their enthusiasm for sharing concepts, I thought, oh, we can do Welcome to Wonderland and make it as inclusive as possible. So what we're doing right now is asking, and any of you are welcome. We have people that we tried to play dress up with in the audience, and we hope that they'll come forward and share this dance. It's what we used to be called a processional dance. And it's where everybody comes on and has a chance to say hello and welcome you to the wonderland of poetry and dance. Now I have to get a prop if you want to get just the last cookie or two, because we have to make a couple of adjustments, and then we will be doing the finale of the entire show. So I do want to thank you personally, and I want to give you a chance to applaud yourselves. Please don't wait until, this dance only takes about, even when we do it twice, it's 6 minutes max. So if you can just last another 6 minutes, you'll be doing great. So I do want to applaud you, and just, here we come in just a bit. But let's do it, pause and take a nice deep breath. Sure. Thank you all so much.
in a fairy tale of animated cartoon. It's heroic adventure. Enter a special world, traveling through the looking glass to startling new dimensions. Your circus comes to town and rearranges normal view into magical perspectives. Unusual talents transform you. Mysterious powers and skills make real your own vivid dream. But is that another world? Different? Elsewhere? Not here? Where's the fantasy here? Here, we're caught in routine, locked in habitual patterns, usually asleep to our own unique rhythm. Yet, our routine is our rhythm. Our habits are creativity, patterns of being free. Let our visions awake. We dance our dazzling spin